Hi guys, it's Ashley from Ashley's Paper Heart, and today I have a really exciting video for you. Today I am going to be joining in the collaboration that was set up by Junie from Willowbound Journals, and it is the Keepsake journal prompt list. So I chose the prompt Babyhood, which is the second prompt in the list, and I will go ahead and link Junie's YouTube down in the description just so you can kind of get an overview of what this prompt list is about. I think that it's really interesting and wonderful to be able to create a journal that kind of looks back on memories and not just looking forward, towards the present or what we're doing at the current time, but kind of like taking a look back at what we've done and things that have meant so much to us. So for this video and for the prompt to Babyhood, I really want to take some time to kind of talk about something that's very vulnerable for me and something that I'm still in the process of healing. And I hope that my story and me being open with my heart will help someone else and know that they're not alone. So when you talk about babyhood, specifically with my daughter, my firstborn, I had a very, very rough transition into motherhood. My daughter was planned, and actually we used fertility treatments to help have her. And so she was very much wanted, very much planned. And then a lot of life stuff happened right before her birth. We moved to a different state where I didn't have any family, any friends. I had quit my job that I was at for a number of years. And just the transition was rough. And then once she was born, I was hit really hard and quite unexpectedly with severe postpartum depression. And it was bad. It was really bad. So for me, looking back at photos from when she was really young is honestly, it's hard for me, and it's a little heartbreaking because I was so stuck in this awful place that I didn't really bond with her or connect with her until much later. And so it's painful to look back on photos of her at that time, and it is something that I am definitely still kind of healing from and still trying to get over the guilt and the shame of the stigma that is around postpartum depression. So when she was born via C-section, and it was honestly pretty traumatic, and there were a lot of complications that kind of went along with her birth. And then once we got home, I was recovering from all of that and just having a really hard time bonding with her and feeling like she was my daughter. You see, I don't know, there's this beautiful fantasy that motherhood and with a young child, a baby, is this wonderful magical thing. And you hear about people saying, when I saw them for the first time, it was love at first sight and that was it. And I felt so ashamed and something was seriously wrong with me that I didn't feel that way at first sight. I felt, I don't know, she was a little alien, and I didn't have any sort of connection or bond with her from the beginning. It was probably when she hit about 9 or 10 months old is when I started slowly feeling more of a bond with her. And my husband, he was wonderful. My husband did immediately feel a bond with her, and he stepped in and did so much. He took care of her and me, and he worked, and it was difficult because he was a contractor at the time, so he was having to work from home and take care of a baby and take care of his wife healing from major surgery and having kind of a mental breakdown, honestly. And God, we got through it though. And so that's what's important. So on the left side of the page, I'm going to be adding photos of my daughter from when she was small, including a photo of me holding her when I was in the hospital. And honestly, when I look at those photos, I can't picture that time in my head. And that is something I am glad that I took the photos You know, even though I wasn't having the greatest time, even though I was struggling, I'm glad that I have those photos so that I can remember through photos. And that is something that, you know, I encourage you as parents, or if you're a parent, to go ahead and take the photo. Take the photo if you don't feel good about it. Take the photo because you may want to remember it. And having that picture may help you heal and may help you be able to, like, you know, take that in and process what has happened. And on top, I added a cute photo of her. I think she was about 9 months old in her little bumblebee costume. And that kind of, for me, symbolizes when I finally started bonding with her. And I look back at that, and that photo does make me very, very happy to see that, to see her smile, to see, you know, that interaction that I had with her at that moment. It kind of reminds me that despite having so many difficulties, that it wasn't all bad. There was good mixed in. So on the right side, I am adding photos of my son from when he was a baby, which honestly wasn't that long ago. My son is 2 now. With my son, while I did have remnants of postpartum depression, I mostly had postpartum anxiety. But the difference between my son and his babyhood, I did bond with him immediately. I did have that immediate love and that immediate bond. So I kind of know, like, both ends of the spectrum. And I get nothing but joy when I look at those photos of my son as a young baby. And it's something that I'm glad that I have those photos, and on both sides for both of my kids. So also on the page, I have added some like vintage childhood kind of illustrations. And that to me symbolizes the, like, I guess the fantasy of it all. The fantasy that, you know, baby makes everything whole. Baby, you know, just brings like immediate joy. And it's it's just kind of, it's a double-edged sword, honestly, because, you know, when you have a young baby, they're up all night, or they're spitting up, or they're pooping and crying, and yes, you love them to death, but man, it can be brutal, especially with the like lack of sleep. And no matter like what anyone told me before having children, no one could have fully prepared me for what it meant to not be able to sleep. Because there were nights with my daughter where she would not sleep at all. And I think that kind of added to my depression and stuff like that, just because sleep is so important to all of us. So I do want to take some time to share some happy memories from both of my kids when they were babies. So for my daughter, I remember taking her to the park quite a bit, and we would just sit and people watch. And she loved being in the little like baby swing that they had there, and I would push her, and it would be super, super cute. She was always smiling and laughing about it. Her laugh was so amazing when she was little, and it still is amazing. But her laugh just made my heart sing, and I really enjoyed making her laugh, and she was really easy to make laugh. And then for my son, he has always been kind of like a strong and independent little man, even at such a young age. With my daughter, she loved like being swaddled, and like she really just liked that. But my son, he absolutely did not. Like, he would escape from the swaddle. He would be upset if we put him in like this little dream sack thing that my daughter loved, and he absolutely hated. And he just wants to be like free and moving. And he actually started rolling over, I think at like 2 months, which scared me like crazy, because you know you're supposed to put them to sleep on their back, and he would just continuously like roll over onto his stomach. So that was something that we dealt with. My son was super, super strong-willed. My daughter, less so, more kind of like go with the flow when she was younger. And she had this little stuffed giraffe with a pacifier on it. And we named it Reggie for her. And she still has, well, she has a version of Reggie because she lost the original one, and we as she got older and she stopped using a pacifier, we actually cut the pacifier off of it, off the strap, and now she just has like the tiny little like giraffe lovey. And we still have one, and we have backups because that thing is so, so important to her. Like, it would be a nightmare if we did not have a backup Reggie just in case. And my son, while he never like really connected with a stuffed animal like she did, he did connect with a quilt that was actually made for my daughter, that she never really got into, and he kind of like took over it when he was younger, and he still like loves that thing, carries it around. He gets upset if I'm washing it and he can't have it immediately. So those are some like happy memories for me from when they were babies, and those are things that I definitely cherish because as they've been growing up, it makes me realize that it really, really does go fast. Like, I blinked and my daughter is like 4.5 now, and I'm thinking, she'll be going to school soon. And my son is 2.5, and I just like, it's just so crazy how fast everything moves. So, something that I do want to just reiterate before ending the video is that if you are dealing with in postpartum depression or just struggling with motherhood in general, I am totally here for you. I totally understand. And know that it will get better, that things change, kids grow up, and that circumstances change, and it will get better, I promise. For me, it took medication, a lot of therapy, and the support of my husband, to get past it. And now, while I still have some remnants of it, I am mostly like back to my normal self, which I am incredibly thankful for. So, if you are struggling, feel free to reach out to me in the DMs on Instagram. I would always be happy to talk to you. And I'll also leave some links down below to some organizations that can be helpful. So, with all that being said, I hope you check out some of the other creators in this collaboration. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Bye.